Welcome to Legal Aid of West Virginia's Family Law Information videos. This video provides information about filling out the Petition for Modification form in a custody case. This form can be used to ask a court to change a parenting plan that has already been approved by a court. The previous parenting plan could have been approved in a divorce or custody case. This form can be used to ask to change where a child lives, the amount of time a parent gets with the child, or when the parenting time occurs. The law generally says that a court can only change a parenting plan if there has been a substantial change in circumstances. This really depends on the facts of each case. Some examples might be asking the court to change a plan because one of the parent's work schedules significantly changed and the current plan won't work. Or it can be related to a change in the child's life, like a new special education need, which means the child needs to go to a different school with a different school schedule. There are a lot of different reasons you can ask for a modification. For more information, read Legal Aid of West Virginia's article on custody modification, asking a court to change a parenting plan. The form for a petition for modification can be found on the Supreme Court of Appeals website at www.courtswv.gov. This video only provides information. If you have questions about your specific situation, you should talk to an attorney or apply for help from Legal Aid. At the top of the petition for modification, you'll fill out the name of the county where your case is being handled. If you're filing a modification, that means you've already had a court case, and so you should put the name of the county where that court case was handled. You also will want to fill in the civil action number here, which you can copy from the previous case that had already been filed and dealt with in court. At the top here, the name of the petitioner is the person filing, and the name of the respondent is the name of the person who would be answering. If you're the petitioner, you're going to write, and that you're the person that's filing the modification, you're going to write in your name on this line here, and then you're going to give the court some information about who you are, if you're a parent or spouse that was listed in the case above, or you're someone else who might have a relationship to the children, you would mark that one there. On B, you're going to put some information about the order that was previously entered that you're asking to be changed. You will need to have a copy of that order because you'll need to have the date that that order was entered, and you'll put that there. And then you'll also want to mark why you think the order should be changed. If you want the parenting plan to be changed, you'd mark it here. If you want child support to be changed from what was previously ordered, you'd mark that. If you want spousal support, if that was a part of a previous order, you would mark that. Or if there's something else from that prior order that you would like the court to change, you would mark that here. If you only have one of those things that you want to change, then you would only mark the box that applies. On question number 2, you're going to give the court a little bit more information about what you want the court to modify from the previous order. There are some questions here about increasing child support or decreasing child support. You'd mark those. Ending child support, you'd mark that. And then if you're asking the court to change the parenting plan, you would mark this, and then you would give the court some more information about why you think the court should change the parenting plan. If you want decision-making changes to be made, you would mark that there. If you would want to have changes to the time spent with children that were previously ordered in the parenting plan, then you would mark that. And if there's something else that's in the previous order that you would want to change, you would also mark that. So you can mark all of these boxes, one of these boxes, but you should mark the ones that are most appropriate based on your situation. If you're asking for some other changes to child support to be made for them to be paid to another person, you would mark that there. And then if you're asking for changes to spousal support, you'd mark those boxes down there at the bottom. At the top of page 2 of the petition for modification, the form gives you the chance to fill out and mark a box if there's any other modifications that you're requesting the court consider. So if that's the case, you'd mark that and then fill in some more explanation here. Question number 3 asks you to provide information about the reasons that you think the modification should be granted. So you'll need to explain in these boxes here all of the changes in the situation and circumstances that you think mean that a modification should be granted. It's really important to be specific and put as much information as you can here. Again, if you have questions about what the court will consider in making a change, you should look for more information on Legal Aid of West Virginia's website about custody modification, or even child support modification. On question number 4, it asks some questions about whether the children or the petitioner or the respondent are receiving any assistance from DHHR. So if anyone's getting assistance like Medicaid or food stamps or West Virginia Works, you would mark that and mark who's been receiving it. Also, question B asks if anyone in the past has received those benefits. So A is about now receiving, and just put the information that you know that you're aware of. And then B is in the past if anyone was receiving assistance. Question C asks if anyone in the case, the petitioner or respondent, is receiving services from the Bureau for Child Support Enforcement. Typically, in a case, if there is child support ordered, you have likely been receiving some assistance from BCSE. And then question D asks about income withholding services from BCSE. So if one of the parties is already paying child support, lots of times that is withheld from a paycheck or income and received from the Bureau for Child Support Enforcement. So if that's the case, then you would mark D. Question number 5 asks about child protective services and if there are any other court cases going on. Question A asks if CPS is currently providing services to the children and parties in this case. If that's the case, you would mark that. Question B asks about CPS currently investigating allegations of abuse or neglect. If you're aware that that's happening, then you would mark that. C asks about someone other than the parents currently having custody of the children in the case. So if the kids are living with another family member, like a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, then you would mark C. D asks about the parents being involved in another court case involving custody of the children. And if that's the situation, if there's been a case filed in another state or another county, or there's any other case like a guardianship or an adoption going on involving these children, then you would mark that. And then E asks if the children are involved in another court case like a juvenile case or a status offender case. And if that's the case, you would mark E. So at the bottom, you would sign and date, but you'll want to wait to do that there and then also on the verification page, the last page here, until you're in front of a notary public, because you're verifying that the information that you've put in this petition for modification is true and accurate. So that has to be signed and dated in front of a notary public. Typically, you can find a notary public at the clerk's office when you go file your case at the library or at a bank. Last but not least, on the bottom of page 3 is the certificate of service. So this is you filling out that you are mailing the petition and information to the other side and providing some information about the address that you're sending it to and when you send it, and then you sign and date that as well.